Friends in Oldish Land, how are you today? Thank you very much for taking the time to join us. My name is Karen Brown. I'm the publisher and editor of The Oldish, and I'm delighted that you're here. Thank you. This week on The Oldish, we're going to look at the articles that we published this week. We're going to look at around the world with The Oldish and see what's new out there for older adults. And we're going to, in our Let's Talk About segment, take a tour of the toolkit on The Oldish. Show some of you who don't yet have a membership what's actually back there. So we refer to it many times. We refer to things like the medication checklist, so I'm going to show it to you. Let's start off first with looking at the articles that we published this week. Are you somebody who likes to fast or perhaps do cleanses, that sort of thing? I'm not a person like that. Maybe I like my food a little bit too much, but there is an article on the anti-aging benefits of intermittent fasting. That is kind of interesting, although I don't get the sense that it's true fasting as in you eat nothing. It's really a very dramatic calorie reduction, so you're still getting a little bit of nutrition, but at the same time making your body work. So take a look at that. Are you somebody who likes to travel around the world, but maybe you're single and you're looking for a way to do that and be a little bit more comfortable? Have you heard of the Freebird Club? Think Airbnb for people over the age of 50. There's an article on that on our website called the Freebird Club. Okay, geriatricians are pushing for more trials including seniors. I did not realize that medical trials often exclude seniors, and they often exclude youth as well. But then how are physicians to make good recommendations if the trials that they're basing their recommendations on don't include the age group that they're treating? Very good point. Remember when we talked about citizens in China who were purposely committing crimes so that they could end up behind bars? Well, more inmates in the US are getting old behind bars, although I don't think it's quite the same situation as China. The end result is the same, and that is that the people who work in the prisons are having to provide more services to people who are aging, helping them with activities of daily living, helping them get dressed, providing special food, that sort of thing. That's an interesting read. Take a look at that. Positive thinking may protect seniors from dementia. Did you realize that? Think positively about aging, and the aging just kind of melts away. I remember talking with our writer Heather Meir about this particular article. I recall when I was younger thinking that somebody who was older was 20 years older than whatever my current age is. That maybe still holds true now, I'm not sure, but you know, you look around at some of the older seniors out there, and people who are 70 look and act as though they're in their 60s or 50s. So you can't tell anymore, but obviously positive thinking works. The top articles this week, again, chicken shots for knee pain, very popular with our readers. Friends with benefits after 50. You know, I think it was in the 3rd spot last week. It's in the 2nd spot this week. What are y'all doing out there? The FDA approves new treatment for age spots. Internet privacy and you. Now, this was the focus of our Let's Talk About segment last week, but I think that as things are settling in with people and they're trying to figure out how to protect themselves a little bit more, maybe that article's coming in handy, so we're happy that it is. Japanese food catered to the elderly. Do you remember reading that? That was something that was published quite some time ago, but it's an interesting read about how there is a restaurant out there that is preparing food by emulsifying it, I suppose, in many respects, blending it down so that it's easy to eat. There's not as much chewing involved, but then they shape it into the shape of whatever food it was. So if it's a pork chop, for instance, they reshape it so that it looks like a pork chop. Interesting read. Elderly at greater risk for heel pain. Take a look at that. Okay, now those are the public the articles that were very popular this week on The Oldish. I'm just going to turn off some of our overlays here so that I can take you behind the scenes. I want to show you there's our website. So that's what it looks like if you come to it. whether you're a member or not. Of course, you don't see this top part here, this black part, because I see that because I'm an administrator, but basically this is what you see. You see some of our featured articles, and then you see the most current articles for each of the 6 channels. All the way down. Really, you know, we just crossed the 1,200 article mark. So there is a ton of content here for people, no matter what age you are. If you're dealing with aging for yourself or for someone you care about, there's something here for you. Up top here though, this toolkit, you can only access what's in the toolkit if you have a membership to the Oldish. Now the memberships are free, and you'll know why when you see what's back here. Here's this medication checklist that we talk about so much, but you have all of these things, and we're adding to it on a fairly regular basis, but we're going to take a look and show you what some of these things are in case there's something that you might find useful in your life. The home safety checklist. We click on that. We'll see how fast the internet is. There it is. So there are lots of them. You can start a new list, and you can make as many of these lists as you want. You could make 1, you could make 100. But here we go, create a list. And there are all of these lists. Now, this checklist was developed by Dr. Vicki Scott and her team out in Vancouver, and it's very comprehensive. Bless their hearts, they have given us permission to make it digital because it was a paper thing. It's digital so that you can use this actually on your smartphone or your tablet or your computer. It's responsive no matter what you're doing. Let's do stairs and elevators just because it's a quick one. So here it is. You call it a name. So let's call it Karen's Stairs. Clearly I've done this before. Karen's Stairs. And then you very simply answer the questions. You go, oops, it crashed on me. Let's go back to it here. Let's just oh, I see, it's spinning. You see, this is what happens, live TV. We will go back to it and we'll create our list. Start a new list. Stairs and elevators. Karen's Stairs. So you, as I said, you answer the questions. Can you see the edges? So I'm going to answer no to all of these, but you would of course answer them truthfully. I'm going to move my little window out of the way here. And then you click Get Results. Now what it's going to do is it's going to show you how to turn those sometimes or no's into yeses. So it's going to solve the problem for you by giving you some great suggestions. So for instance, this one, if you can't see the edge of the stairs, increase the lighting over the stairs, consider painting each step edge or adding a contrast to edging, or have your vision tested. It's pretty simple. This is a way that you can make sure that your house is safe for you. Okay, and as I say, you can do any number of these. So you could go through and analyze your home, your parents' home, your neighbor next door. You can call them all different names. But you need it to be private because it's nobody's business what the issues are inside of your house. It's particularly nobody's business when we get to the medication checklist. If you're more of a visual person, home safety checklists have been done in video form. Again, also by Dr. Vicki Scott's team. Dr. Scott spent her entire career dealing with fall and injury prevention. So this lady knows her stuff. So you can see all of these videos. They're narrated by an occupational therapist who takes you through the different rooms of the home and shows you what some of the potential issues are and how to make them better. So that's that one. Activity program videos. Are you getting enough exercise? 150 minutes a week. That's what's recommended. So 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week. You take the weekends off. That's what I do anyway. So this, again, as I said, was created by Dr. Vicki Scott. Out on the West Coast, the more popular languages, in addition to English, are Punjabi and Mandarin Chinese. So this was provided to us and we put it all up. So you can take your pick, but these exercises are available for somebody who is seated, standing, or walking. So there's no excuse. So here are the moving exercises. Standing, if all you can do is stand and hold on to a kitchen counter, these are the exercises for you. Sitting, if you're in a wheelchair, these are the exercises for you. So it's got something for everyone. Now my favorite, the medication checklist. Love this medication checklist. This is, and I don't love it simply because it's something that I developed, because I did, but I also ran it by the ER chief, the then ER chief at our local hospital. And he said to me, I wish everybody came into the ER with a list like this. So if you don't have a medication checklist, you need to make one. You're welcome to use ours if indeed you do have a membership. If you don't, get one and you can use it. It is super easy. So you fill in all of your information here, your pertinent information, your emergency contact, the date the form was done, and then you come down here and you get out all of the medication you take on the table in front of you, and you write down all of the information here. So the name of the drug, the strength, that'll be on the pill bottle or the liquid bottle, the dosage, and how many times a day you take it. You can add the next medication, you can add the next medication. And when you go back to your doctor for another checkup, if your doctor says you don't need to take this medication anymore, take it off your list, I'm going to add you another one. You come back to your medication checklist and you simply delete it. Gone. And you can add in the new one that the doctor prescribed. It is super easy. Your over-the-counter medications. People tend to ignore these and pretend that they're not really medications. They are. They are medications that interact with one another, and they interact with the prescription medications your doctor has prescribed. So you need to pay attention to what these are. Now, taking them, the frequency over here, if you take them once a day, once a week, 3 times a week, you still need to put it down. I don't think I would tend to put it down if I took it twice a year. But if it's something that you find yourself taking, a stomach antacid for instance, 2 or 3 times a week, I definitely put it in here. Vitamins or natural and herbal products, again, people tend to skip over these and pretend that they're not medications. They are. Some of these herbal products can and do interact with prescription medication. So be very careful about this. Make sure you take note of it. Allergies and intolerances. So they're different. A person who has an allergy, for instance, a gluten allergy, would get very, very sick if they ate bread with gluten in it. People who are intolerant may not get as sick. They may just feel a mild upset stomach or get a little bit of a rash. So there is a difference, and you need to note that because there are medications that are not to be given for people with certain allergies. I know eggs are mentioned a great deal as an allergy that does not mix with some medications. So for instance, and you need to talk about the severity. So I'm allergic to grass and trees. I get stuffed up. That's it. It's not a big deal, but it's still an allergy, so I write it down. Okay, and again, if you have multiple allergies, you can add a new allergy. Just keep adding. Get all of the information. Do this in a quiet place when you have a peaceful time and you can really think about what you're adding. Once this is all done, you save it. I believe the save button is at the bottom here. Create list. You hit that, and then it will be saved. You can print out a copy of this, and I urge you to print out 2 copies, one of which you will keep with you in your purse or your wallet or whatever it is that you normally have with you, and you will take it with you to every doctor's appointment. You will also take it with you to the pharmacy. Okay, let the pharmacist have a look at what you're taking and see if any interactions pop up on his or her radar. Very important. You can email this. Now this is something that you could email to whoever has your health proxy. So the person who is making your decisions when you are unable to speak. It's very important that they have all of this information. Now you know why the ER doctor said, I wish everybody came into the ER like this. It's a time saver to know what medications you're on. It's a time saver to know what your blood type is and who your doctor is, especially if you're traveling, if you're outside of your normal home area. But also, don't forget that inside your normal home area, the hospital that you go to, the ER doctors may be people who are there doing what's called locums. You might not be seeing your regular family doctor. It may be a doctor who's there for a shift, and they don't know who you are. So give them as much help as you possibly can. So that is our medication checklist, my favorite thing. My library. So in my library, you will find stories. Now, there's nothing in here now. I'm going to show you how to do that. If you go to a particular channel of the Oldish, the internet is very slow today in the studio. Okay, there's our Freebird Club article. So let's say you saw that article, but you were too busy to read it just now, or you did read it and it was something you wanted to show to a friend, or just keep for later reference. Again, we have over 1,200 articles, so if you get really digging in here and you find things that are relevant to your life, save them to your library. And you do that as simply as clicking this, add to library. Now it's in your library. And when you go back to your My Library, you will find that that article is there. There it is. Now if you've read it and you don't want to save it in your library anymore, you just click that and it will go away. Refresh the list and it will be blank, or it will at the very least have removed the ones that you want to remove. Easy, but it's the best way, really, because so many people have so much going on in their lives these days, and when you go back to find it again, we do have a great search tool over here. But if you know exactly the article you want, it's so much easier to just put it in your library. Recommended documents. Now that's an area that we're going to be filling out over time. Right now, what's in it is the Health Directive for Dementia. We did do a segment on that on one of our Facebook Live shows. It's a PDF, so it's going to be opening in a separate window. We did do a piece on that on one of our Facebook Live shows, and we talked about it, but this is where you actually find it. And because it's a PDF, you can print it out. If you have an Adobe program that lets you fill it in online, you can do that too, I suppose. But it has a couple of pages of explanation about what it is. Now, those of you who saw that Facebook Live will remember that this document was developed by a doctor in Chicago and his colleagues. So it's fairly open as far as the jurisdictions it will cover. It's not a specifically American document or any particular country. This is meant to promote discussion with the people that you care about and who care about you. So after the pages of explanation, it has a page devoted to stage 1, stage 2, and stage 3 dementia. So it gives a little explanation about what somebody with stage 1, in this case mild dementia, would be experiencing, what their family would be seeing, and then it asks 4 questions. These 4 questions are the same questions that are asked for stage 2 and stage 3, but your wishes may change. So, I think stage 1 is probably pretty simple. Stage 2, things get a little dicier. And stage 3, I think, promotes real family conversation. If you will remember, some of the articles that we've published and we've talked about here on our Facebook Lives talk about treatments for seniors who are not able to speak for themselves, but the family wants these treatments not because it's the best thing for the patient, but because the family can't bear to let them go yet. Is that the best thing for the patient? I don't know. It's an individual discussion within the family, but here is your chance as the future patient to have this discussion about your wishes with your family members. Okay? That is a really terrific document, and here you can download it and you can print it out. So that is that. We will be adding more documents over time. We don't want to just throw stuff in there to populate our toolkit. We want things to be really relevant and really useful to your life. So over time, as I say, we'll get that in there for you. Let me just get back some of these little bits and pieces so that I can see what's going on in front of me. We've got some reactions. Thank you very much. I'm glad you like the content. Okay, around the world of the Oldish. Let's take a look at that. some really interesting things going on. The U.S. Preventative Services Task Force has updated their recommendations related to falls. Now, the old guidelines highlighted taking calcium and vitamin D. This task force is saying, not so much anymore. Our recommendation has changed. The new guideline specifies exercise. We're back to that 150 minutes a week, people. You've got to move. Move it or lose it. It has never been so true. They found that vitamin D supplements have no benefit in preventing falls in older adults, and that combined with calcium, it was not associated with reduced incidence of fracture. Get out there and move. The Boston Marathon was held this weekend, and the weather was kind of wicked, but there were a lot of older adults participating. So I took a look at how the age groups in the older adult categories were represented. In the 60 to 64 age group, 1,463 people started the Boston Marathon. 94.8 finished. 65 to 69, 628 started. 89.5 finished. 70 to 74 age group, 200 started. 83.5 finished. 75 to 79, 43 started. 65.1 finished. And in the over 80 group, over 80, and they're running the Boston Marathon. The U.S. Preventative Services Task Force is going to like these people. 16 people started with 43.8 finishing. Wow. Just wow. So if you go to do that math, you're gonna wonder where those percentages finished come from. There were numbers given to those who registered for the Boston Marathon in each age group, and then there was another number for how many started. So not everybody that registered started. And the percentage that finished is based on the percentage of those who registered. That's why it maybe is a little out of whack if you're a math whiz, but that's still an impressive number of older adults participating in the Boston Marathon. You go. Norwegian Technology has brought us a new program called Motiview. Motiview, it's a bicycling simulator for older adults. The seniors sit on stationary bicycles while cycling in their choice of over 20 countries, represented by in excess of 1,200 videos. That sounds like fun. They can listen to the music while they cycle in familiar spots, or perhaps visited places that they've only ever dreamed of. That sounds great. For those of you who are dog lovers, I'm a dog lover, who happen to live in Nova Scotia, an exhibit highlighting the relationship between dogs and their older owners will be circulating throughout the province from mid-April until the end of May. It's called Grow Old Along With Me, The Meaning of Dogs in Senior Lives. Gosh, I wish they had that available as something that you could just see online. That'd be terrific. I'd love to see that. But if you're in Nova Scotia, you can see that. If you live in Boca Raton, seniors there are learning something called cane foo. Now you can search that in the Oldish website because Heather, our writer, did an article on that quite some time ago, but this has come back again through the local news channels. The program is being given through the local police department in Boca Raton, and the 6-week course is helping seniors to defend themselves with a cane or an umbrella. The seniors say they're feeling quite empowered, and there are more courses scheduled. So if you're in the Boca Raton area, check the local police department website there for information on upcoming classes. There we go. So let me just show you where you can find all of these good articles here at theoldish.com, and you can keep up to date on everything that's happening in the world of the Oldish. You can take out a free membership and access those documents we looked at today in the toolkit. And I will thank you very much for your time joining us today and invite you to join us next Wednesday on our regular The Oldish Live. Until then, please remember that it does indeed take a village to age a senior.